So, I'm rewatching season 1 of JJK, right?
Mm.
And the patchwork dude, I don't remember his name right now.
Mahito?
I think so.
Mahito.
Right? I think his voice actor is really skilled.
Okay.
Because
He stresses me out.
well, yeah, but his spook laugh is good. His like, I can't even do it. His like, anytime his character grins and he chooses to laugh over that grin, I'm like, that was really good. I can't evil laugh. I also can't witch cackle. So jealous of anyone who can do those things anyway. But his evil, maniacal little giggles, they are genuine giggles. Like, they're not even like a...
Yeah.
His maniacal little giggles are really good.
That reminds me. I was doing, I had to do some voiceover work for a short film I was doing, and we had to go back in and do ADR after. And it was this one point.
Wait, for the entire group and me, define ADR.
It's like the recording stuff you do after the film is done. Like, if something didn't get picked up with the mic the way you wanted it to, you go in and basically do voiceover.
Okay.
I forget what it's called. It's like audio recording something. I don't know. I'm not a person.
No,
it's called ADR. So this one part, it was me and this guy. It's like a romance thing. Me and this guy. Fun fact about me, I love reading romance. Obviously, I've talked about it on here. I don't love acting romance because I'm very uncomfortable. I feel like I do better as like either the witchy or like bitchy person or like a more hard-headed person. I don't feel like I play soft very well, but that's an acting thing. I was doing voiceover for this one scene. We're both on a bridge and he like picks me up and spins me around. And they're like, can you give us just some giggles? Like, remember the scene and like how we choreographed it. So laugh like you would have if he picked you up and spun you around. So I'm just in this booth by myself. Yep, basically. But I mean, I did it well. And I did it well enough to where both the guys, my co-star and one of the directors, was outside of the booth. And when I got out, they were like, wow, that was really believable. And I was like, yep, you're not as funny as you think you are, boys. And I think I ruined their day.
Guys, that means anytime I say something funny, it may be not funny. And I won't ever know.
You'll never know because...
No, the audience will know.
What?
I won't know. They'll know if it's not funny. They'll be like, that wasn't funny. Why'd you laugh? Guys, I'm going to be so deluded at the end of my life because of this podcast with Bailee. Just
hyping you up.
Know that it's not my fault that I'm as crazy as I am. Okay?
I genuinely laugh. I don't fake laugh on this pod. I don't think I fake laugh on this pod. I really don't fake laugh that often. If I find something really funny, actually...
You don't laugh at all.
I don't laugh at all.
That's how it's supposed to be. It's that interior, that's funny.
I go, that's funny. Do I say that? Actually, no, that isn't.
You don't really say that's funny.
I used to say that's funny.
I think you've said that before. But I also think it depends on the kind of funny and the humor it is. Because when we laugh, it is funny, but it's not like the funniest thing we've ever heard. It's just silly.
Yeah.
Because we laugh a lot. Yes. But what are we laughing about today, Bailee? Guys, if only you could see that. Whoa. Oh my God. What are we doing today?
We are finally gonna finish On Punching Gods and Absentee Dads.
You heard it here, folks. Welcome back to another episode of Fanfics and Friends, where we talk about the last
20.
It's like 21, I think. Ish.
Yeah.
Chapters of On Punching God and Absentee Dads. Let's get into it.
Yeah, let's wrap her up with a bow. Guys, I know that you guys get these. I mean, if you're watching after they're all posted, maybe you're watching back to back and it's only been a few hours. For us, we've been reading this
a while.
I don't even know.
A while.
It's probably close to 9 months, I think. Life be lifin'. And
it's how it is.
It's how it is. So this is really exciting for us to be done. I feel so accomplished.
Yeah.
I feel incredibly accomplished. I did it. You did it. We did it.
So where do we leave off technically? Let me go look.
We left off.
Oh, I know.
I was like, you know exactly where
I
we're
loved chapter 36. Okay, so chapter 35, I don't remember what happens, but chapter 36.
Harry had just gotten to Hogwarts
That's
and
cool.
Loki is pretending to be not
chapter
his.
36, I was so prepared for chapter 36 and 37. It was the intro of Draco, the real intro of Draco. We finally get Draco's perspective.
Yes.
And I feel like Draco was a great addition, actually. Because at first I was like, why are you using him for the, like, you're using him to get the Drarry people, you're using him to get, like, the Draco people, the Hermione people. You know, I don't care why she used him. He was a great choice. He balances Harry very well. They're kind of like foils. Because they're both forced without being forced. They both have choices, but they also both don't have choices. They're great characters to mimic each other. And in this fic, I feel like it was really wise of her to use him to, one, show like the difference in Harry, but also give like, not context to Harry, but he forwards the plot really well.
Yeah.
As well, because he pushes in a different way. Either way, I was hype. His dialogue was slay.
So good.
Because it's Draco, let's be real. If his dialogue didn't slay, you'd be doing him an injustice. Draco slayed. I was really glad he was there. I think the going to get his mom, I was intrigued that Draco was like fine so quickly. Like it was the like, let's do this right now kind of vibe. I feel like they would have argued about it a little more. And I was cool with everything after that. And then they got to Malfoy Manor. And as soon as Harry was like, I'll disguise myself, I was like, all right, he's going to use his magic to change his face. And I couldn't decide who he was going to go for, but the Voldemort thing should have been obvious to me.
Yeah.
And I did like that Nagini was like, you're not my master.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, later Harry says it's because he doesn't disguise his smell. And I do think Nagini would totally know, even despite that. I think she would know as soon as he said something back to her. Because, again, they've known each other for, Harry, like Voldemort and Nagini have known each other for a while. They spend a lot of time together. I'm sure they talk a lot outside of what Harry sees, because Harry sees into Voldemort's mind often. But I'm sure Voldemort and Nagini have conversations all the time outside of Nagini kill. Come on now. So I do think she would have totally recognized him, maybe in a different way than the way the author did it, but I do think it would have definitely happened that quick. It'd have been like, wait a minute, you're sus, murder. I was cool with Harry's fire working like fiend fire to like kill Nagini, but I wish we would have brought it up sooner. They didn't need the Sword of Gryffindor if the fiend fire kills Nagini.
Yeah.
Harry literally could have set everything on fire. The only reason she brought in the sword was because of the goblin stuff, which she didn't really capitalize on at all.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. So I feel like after we got to Hogwarts, it became Harry Potter fic.
I did.
Completely.
I did.
Which honestly I was fine with, because I think it allowed for Harry's character to really settle in, at least dialogue-wise, especially with Draco. It felt a lot more natural, or I just felt like I understood Harry a little bit more as a character, because before that, he really hadn't had any conversations other than just his internal monologue.
Or fights with his dad that are already weird because the characterization of both of them.
Right. So it was nice, but it does mean I don't know the lore now. I know the lore now. I was given the lore. But yeah, so the dwarves or the goblins.
The goblins.
At the bank. Yes. And the sword.
I feel like that's the only reason the sword was brought in, was to do that thing with the goblins.
Because of the overarching, we want to bring
everybody together.
That's what it ends up being at the end, right? So
everybody comes together.
Yeah, there's world peace, basically. That's what
there's universal peace.
Universal peace, yes. So that is, yeah. I was so lost when that battle initially started, when they were trying to protect the goblins. I was like, what are we talking about? Why are there goblins at this bank?
Oh, the goblins run the bank.
Yeah. I vaguely remembered that.
The goblins run the bank.
But you know what I really did like? Though? That chapter when the Voldemort goes to attack the bank and they have the fight outside of it. I really like that scene between him and Draco when he takes away his dark mark.
His dark mark.
I really liked that. I thought it was well written.
I did too, actually.
I really enjoyed it.
Now, okay, so we spent this entire thing talking about how they know the Horcrux is soul magic. If the dark mark is also soul magic, why can Harry, or if not Harry, the lady from Asgard that I do not remember the name of right now, who does soul magic.
Right. The elf.
Why could he not explain what he did to Draco's dark mark in best detail as he can and have her attempt? I feel like the whole having him die again. Now, I know why she did it and we'll get to it. But I feel like having Harry die took away from the possibilities of intertwining the Harry Potter magic with the Asgardian magic.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it would have been really interesting and cool to have her focus on that because it worked once. Different.
Yeah.
But if Harry's soul is protected from Voldemort's or via Lily's love sacrifice.
Mm-hmm. But they don't find that out until way later.
Not by a lot. But even then,
chapters, yeah.
If we know that the dark mark is soul-related magic, Harry should have told her about it, and they should have talked about it, and it totally should have been an attempt and or how they got rid of the Horcrux out of Harry. I also really think it's interesting that we never really go into Voldemort reacting to losing his Horcruxes, because they get rid of a lot of them. And they do a little from Voldemort's perspective, the one chapter from Voldemort's perspective. But because of the magic they did on Harry's scar, right? Harry's not feeling it, but he should.
Yeah. He should be feeling.
Because that's canon. Harry, when they kill the Horcruxes in the books and the movies, Harry knows that Voldemort knows.
Yeah.
That's like the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought it was interesting that we chose to gloss over that a little bit until we wrote from Voldemort's perspective. Again, there's a lot happening in this story.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just thought that was interesting.
Trying to think. So we get to Hogwarts.
Yep.
Save Narcissa.
Yep. Christmas.
Right after, Christmas. Right after that, McGonagall.
Yes.
And other teachers find out
that James is
James.
Yeah, that was an interesting conversation. And then they choose to go mess with Umbridge. Which at first I thought was like a throwaway thing until Harry and Loki have the conversation about it. And then I still was like, okay. And then Lily brings it up and I was like, all right. If you're not done with the fic, by the way, you should really go finish it because we're about to hit some major spoilers.
Yeah, we're done with it and we plan on talking about it to completion. So,
yeah, that was an interesting choice to include Umbridge in that.
Yeah.
In the way that they did.
Yes.
Because I agree Loki would be vengeful, but
I'm unclear as to what Loki we're dealing with. Because in the context of the year that we're in, we are right off of 2012.
Yeah. It's not silly goofy brother Loki that dies. This is angered Loki who...
He's psychotic a little bit.
A little bit. He's just been controlled via, magic.
Yes. And
it's the second time I've said via. I apologize.
And if Loki's going to do something to somebody that hurts somebody close to him,
it's going to be crazy.
It's going to be crazy. It's not going to be a silly, goofy little prank.
Right.
Like
they will
cats
die.
Peeing. Yeah, she's going to be dead. Which, not to say that should have happened.
But it would have made it actually really interesting between Harry and Loki.
Yeah.
Oh, you had cats follow her around and pee on her. You murdered her.
Yes.
Got it. So this is who my father is.
This is who everybody has talked about. This is the man that I read about. It would have added an entire different layer.
It would have changed his existential crisis, too, that he's already having about right and wrong and revenge and justice because his father murdered someone technically for him. But is that the right thing to do? Should that have been what happened to Umbridge?
Right.
Because the justice system wasn't working anyway, but is that still, do you take justice into your own hands? Do you take revenge?
Mm-hmm. So if Loki is going to do something, he is a prankster, but not in the context of, I don't know, not in the context of what that was, I guess.
Right.
If he's getting revenge, he's getting revenge. He's going to kill you or he's going to make you suffer.
Eternally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that happened. And then, it's Christmas time.
Yes.
Interesting chapter. I enjoyed the fire scene when everybody...
They were doing the Yule traditions, the
yes.
pure blood wizarding traditions.
Yeah, I thought that was I thought that was good. I was entertained. This was at the point of the story where I was like, I'm fully invested. Like, I'm reading this. Like, I'm kind of on the edge of my seat. Like, what's going to happen? We have kind of high stakes. Like, I know Narcissus here. And that kind of put me on edge because I was like, Voldemort is probably going to come soon. Get her. I felt like. No. But that's kind of the stakes that I was getting from it. And yeah, so they all get those ominous tidings. But I have to say, author, why did you say Draco was going to see his dad?
And then
not follow through on that? Or did I miss it? I don't think I did. Anyway, that was crazy. Everyone else's was so like vague. And then Harry's.
I'm going to hug my mother.
And everyone, I thought it was so funny. Everyone was trying to be like, well, you know, it could be like figurative. And Harry's like, I'm going to die.
He was mid-existential crisis. Although I do like later when after Narcissa has that conversation with Sirius and Sirius takes the locket to Harry. I liked her. It's from Sirius's perspective, but it's like Sirius talking about how Harry, like about how he's viewing Harry, right? And it's like he sounded so calm, so at peace. There was no fear, no agony. He was looking as if he truly believed that he would win, that he would live, that the world would be safe because he's had that conversation with Frigga, right? And so it's the duality of hope and realism. But like Harry's come to terms with what's potentially going to happen, but also not willing to give up his hope. And I liked the way she wrote that part. It was a good. That little section was really good.
It just established him very much as like the savior character. And I liked that for him. Because before, it felt like...
My brain just did a really weird thing.
Okay.
I don't know, you said savior, my brain was like, Jesus Christ. Superstar. Anyway. Whoa.
Christ. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, kind of. He's the savior character of, I mean, obviously of his actual canon thing. Right. But in this as well. And him coming to terms with, I really liked that his existential crisis ended up kind of going around. I have accepted, I'm okay with death, but I'm not okay with how it's going to leave everyone else.
Right. Because I feel like that's how I feel about death. Like, I'm okay that I'm going to die. I know I'm going to die. Yeah. And I know it's going to happen and it's not avoidable because that's part of life is death. There is no point of life without death either. Like in real life right now, there's no point of living your life unless you died. Right. Because then why were you here to begin with? Right. I just, especially, well, yeah. If you leave even religion outside of it, like what is the point? But where was I going?
Leaving people behind. Oh, that right. Grieves me more.
That's the one thing that bothers me about death. I don't fear death. I fear
the people
leaving the people I love alone. Yep. Or in pain. Right? Like I don't fear my parents' death in the sense of that they're going to die. I just know I will miss them. Yep. And I'll be sad because they'll be gone. I know they'll be in a better place and I know they'll be happy and they'll be safe and they won't be sick. I just know I will be sad. Yep. And I don't fear the sadness because I'm a lot more emotionally healthy than I used to be. But I do accept the fact that I will be sad about it. And it will probably come out as anger, but I don't fear death. Yeah. Do you fear death, Mr. Turner? Guys, I can't imitate Bill Nye. I'm so sorry. And not the science guy. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please go watch Pirates of the Caribbean.
I've seen it and I did not. I thought you were talking about the science guy.
Bill Nye is the actor who plays David Jones. And I don't know if I'm saying Nye right, but I think it's Nye.
Nye. I think that's really real. And
yeah, I liked that section.
Grappling with death and grief.
And then they go back to school.
They do.
And you know what? I feel like it was one of those, we're having they were like, oh, spring started, school. Let's have a staff meeting. How are your kids doing? You know, so many weeks into school. And it's like, oh, wait, guys, Voldemort's here. We got to go.
And then right after, that was so crazy.
Well, and you know what, though? I did love a certain part of that chapter. It was at the very end. And it's McGonagall, right? Because the chapter's from her perspective. And it's, although perhaps she could finally try out that armor activation spell, she'd always wanted to see what it would do. And I loved that because it's It's a nod to the film, and it was super fun. I did think that was funny. I was like, haha, that's cute. Respect and missing you, Dame Maggie Smith, queen of all things.
Rest in peace. We go right into the fight. It's here.
Yeah.
It came out of nowhere to me.
It felt a little random.
It felt like, I was like, yay, Christmas. Oh.
I think though it's because they destroyed the last Horcrux.
Yeah.
Right, because we got that chapter on Voldemort's perspective at some point.
Yes. Yeah, they destroyed that. Oh, that's right, because Narcissa brings Wanda Sirius.
It's the locket.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So Voldemort's here, and the battle ensues. And then Harry dies.
Which we should have been expecting, considering he still had Horcrux. I'm fine with that. I did think it was a little odd that we had to focus on the fact that he was naked when he rolled up at first. I was like, what?
I forgot about that.
No, literally.
Yeah, it's like
He's
a whole
like,
paragraph.
No clothes. And is like, I would like clothes, please. I would like my sword, please. I was like, what? All right. Are we aiming for the... I don't know what we were aiming for with that. Because it's not like he faces his creator. So it's not, showing up, bare in front of your creator, metaphorically and physically, because he wasn't meeting his creator. He was in a
purgatory.
Yeah.
Space, yeah.
To talk to his mom in death. Guys. I wasn't actually bothered. I was okay with the conversation between him and Lily. I liked the conversation between him and Death. That was interesting. And I like that Death rolled up and was like, can I sit on your blanket? And Lily was like, there's always space on the blanket. I was like, LMAO, that's funny.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was a good characterization of Lily, because Lily would be snarky, but also would be like kind.
Mm-hmm.
There's always space on the blanket, right? Whether you're an entity of life and death or...
I know, that had a lot of layers.
Yeah, I was cool with
Whether
that.
you meant to or not, that has a lot of layers.
It was cool. Now, Harry choosing to live again. Obviously, that's what I was expecting, right. And it's also what I wanted, so slay. Now, folks, I don't know.
I do. She should have stayed dead.
Well, I'm inclined to very much agree. But I also think, we talked about this a little bit already, but not in this, but we talked about this, about how it would have been interesting if Loki was more 2012 Loki.
Right.
And this would be a moment for Loki to truly be James.
Mm-hmm.
And not be Loki.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it would have made the conversation that Lily and Harry had before Harry came back really interesting.
Yep.
If Loki chose this moment to be James wholly. And then it would have been very in character for Loki for him to then, like, once this is all over, for him to be like, back to being Loki. Caring about Harry from afar.
Well, and it could have been even more interesting if this entire time, if Harry was unsure of the love
Loki felt for him.
Yes.
As a parent,
if he died and was with his mom, who he has an idealized version of because he never knew her.
She's dead, right?
She's dead. She has no flaws because she can't. That's just what happens when you lose somebody that young. Of him not going back. Like, that wasn't really...
Oh.
Not that he did that that would be what happens, but instead of being torn between, you're going to make me choose between my mom and my dad, I want to be with both, being like, no, I do want to stay with my mom. I don't think my dad really cares for me. And then having him watch what happens after, like, watch from over.
Pull a Twilight?
Yeah. Sure. Watch his dad become...
Oh, because it's the you killed my son moment, right?
Yes.
Okay,
and he can see him have that.
Because you're right, because Harry would never abandon the world for his mom. Character-wise, he would never do that. But if Death or his mom brought up the fact of Loki being his dad and choosing between his mom and his dad, you're right. If he didn't know if his dad loved him, it would be a conversation they would have, and he'd be angry about it. And it would be so slay that Lily'd be like,
watch this.
You're missing it, Harry. You just open your eyes and look. You've missed it this whole time. And what if, it'd be even more slay if she could, like, because they're, dead and in purgatory, if she could play him moments of the rest, like the past, right? Of since they've met, of like, okay, do you remember in when they're in America, they're in the arcade and the Death Eaters show up?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a good moment, right? Because Harry loses control of all his magic and thinks he's going to kill the Avengers, and Loki talks him through it. Slay moment. But they could have made it less father-sonly, right? But those actions weren't standard Loki protocol, right? That would be slay too.
Yeah. I think
that'd be really interesting.
I think it'd be really good if
I think I wanted Lily to stay. Well, I generally have problems when you bring back characters from the dead, because I think they forward character development. So, like, guys, this is so controversial of me to say. No, this is actually crazy. And okay, wait, pause, because I'm about to do so many things at once. If you've never seen My Hero Academia, Boku no Hero Academia, and you want to, you better like shut your ears for the next minute.
Are you
and a
about
half.
to spoil me?
Yes.
Okay.
And if you're not all the way through My Hero Academia, you better close your little ear holes for a second, okay?
Am I closing my ears?
No, I'm telling you, you're gonna deal with it.
Okay.
I don't know for how long. I'm just telling you. Just you better.
Deku dies.
No.
Oh.
You just better leave for like 2 minutes and come back. I'll say it really quickly. Just skip your time right about now. Bakugo steps in front of a shot meant for Deku and basically almost dies on the field. It would have been really interesting in forwarding Deku's character if Bakugo had died. Because they win to save and they save to win. And they're basically like a little duo kind of thing. It forwards Deku's character, any interaction he has with Bakugo. That's why they have so many of them. That would have been really interesting. We're back to our regular scheduled program, but the same theory applies. Lily dies, and her death is a major part of Harry's character.
Yep.
Meeting her and having a conversation with her is really different. Same thing applies to Dumbledore. In actual canon Harry Potter, if Dumbledore had faked his death, him coming back would have actually been a betrayal. Right? That'd have been a betrayal to Harry. Stay dead. I think Lily showing back up, actually, it allows Harry, it allows him to backtrack into the idea that, because I feel like young Harry has this ideal that if you win, you save everybody you care about. And that's just not true. It's not true. And I think in the canon, when Harry dies, he knows there's people that are already dead. That's like the whole point. He literally goes and sees their dead bodies and is like, it's time to end this so nobody else has to die. She's dead. Bringing her back refutes.
She's been dead too.
Yeah. It refutes everything.
And we're back to Captain America.
See, Sirius, I had less problems with, but the same theory applies. Sirius staying dead changes Harry. Because the next book, Harry is sitting in a place of anger. He's angry at Dumbledore, which carries into the 7th, which is highly important, right, for the actual plot of the character. I feel like almost killing Sirius would be different than killing Sirius, but Sirius died. And bringing Sirius back, I have a thing with bringing dead people back to life. You really just, I don't know about it. I don't know. And I feel like the only time it's okay is if I'm okay if you bring someone back from the dead, especially in this context, like if he brought Lily back, but it wasn't Lily he just talked to, it was Lily when she died. That would be interesting. I'd be okay with that. It's not Lily who watched him grow up for 16 years. It's Lily who just died 5 seconds ago from her
newborn.
baby.
Yeah, or her baby. Yeah.
She never got to watch him grow up. She's not really going to mother him. And his ideal of her will shatter.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't know how to mother him.
So now he has 2 dysfunctional parents instead of 0.
That'd be really interesting. But if you... I have a thing with dead people staying dead.
Yeah. Yeah, I think...
I just do. Also, I miss you, Draco. Where'd you go?
Also, yeah. Bye, Draco.
My king, what happened?
So he brings her back, though.
Yep. He
goes and digs her up.
What? So you can do magic. Did you forget?
That was crazy. Loki's macking on her corpse, basically. Crazy.
That was wild.
Also crazy.
There were just some things.
And then we talked about this before, and especially for me, there isn't a lot of info on Lily
Right.
as a character, like, because there's no prequel and you only get a couple tidbits about her. So it's hard to know exactly what she would be like or how she would be. But she basically goes on like a revenge jaunt. Lily's Jaunt, that's the name of the chapter. She goes on like, well, first when she's brought back, she sees Dumbledore, punches him, punches Thor, ruins Dumbledore's name, gets onto Thor, they make up. Next, she goes, her and Severus.
I was like,
Her and Severus.
although, let's be clear, if she was going on a revenge jaunt, she would have words with Sirius. He abandoned her son to take revenge.
Yeah, and then bullied him.
What?
He abandoned her son.
Sirius Black did, yes.
Oh, Sirius.
Yeah. He chose Peter Pettigrew
Yeah.
over Harry.
I thought they didn't know he was alive.
Harry?
Yeah.
No, canonically, like, when Sirius rolls up, Hagrid has Harry.
When he was a baby.
Yeah. Sirius shows up and is like, right? And Hagrid has Harry. And it's Dumbledore asked me to get him, you know. I'm going to take him to Dumbledore. And Sirius is like, bet, let me go get Peter Pettigrew. Sirius is a wizard who can do magic. He could have literally knocked Hagrid out and just taken Harry.
Yeah. Yeah.
If Lily really were going on a true rampage,
She should have.
she would have words for Sirius.
Yeah.
She would have words for Remus. She'd have Mooney.
Yeah. No.
I'm a werewolf. Okay, yeah, you are. Get a babysitter for 3 days a month. Get a babysitter.
Yeah, no, she did not. She glossed over them.
See, I think I don't mind her seeking revenge. I think as a character in canon, revenge wouldn't be outside of her wheelhouse.
Mm-hmm.
I think her revenge, though, is definitely more justice than it is revenge. Loki is revenge. I think Lily would be justice.
Yes.
And she'd have a conversation with these people, but it wouldn't be straight rage.
Right.
I do think she'd have a conversation, though. With Severus, it'd be you really disappointed me.
Mm-hmm.
How dare you treat my son this way? He's a baby. He had nothing.
He's a kid.
He didn't do anything to you.
Mm-mm.
Right?
Yep.
Like nothing. And if you cared about me, why would you not care about my son? Why would you only look for... Now, I do think Carrie makes a really good point earlier in the book, right? In the fic, where he's like, you likened me to James so you wouldn't see Lily in me. And I think that's a really good point.
Mm-hmm.
And a good guess as to why Severus was the way he was, even in canon, right?
Mm-hmm.
But again, if Lily's coming after Snape, it'd still be it'd be 2 for 1. But I do think she would go after people. It just wouldn't be exactly the same way the this author wrote it.
Yeah. But we also don't really know.
That's true. She's
dead. Kind of, well, yeah.
She's dead.
She's dead.
Very
we don't
dead.
have a lot of info on her. So she does that, talks to them, gets on to Odin and Frigga as well. And then they make up, and wedding time. They have a wedding. There's war. There's universal peace. And then there's a really nice little epilogue where Harry is having an existential crisis because he is immortal and has been for almost 2 years now. He's turning 18 or about to turn 18. And he looks at what's it called? The bonding thing that him and Hermione and Ron did, the spell, and is like, my friends are going to outlive me. And
I'm going to outlive my friends.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to outlive my friends. Also, whenever I do die, if I die, I won't even be in the same place in them, because that's something they talk about in the death realm, right? Is that immortal people go to
somewhere else.
What's it? Yogstaff? Whatever. They go to that place and become light in earth or something, and the other people watch over. So they would never be together. They have, of course, a little bit of time, but right. Having an existential crisis, crying on a hill, and then Ron and Hermione show up, and then they're like, yo,
we're gonna eat these apples.
We're gonna be immortal with you. Our parents are fine with it. Also, let's go study abroad with the elves. The end.
I feel like
I feel like it ended as chaotic as it started.
I feel like in a Percy Jackson way, if they could lock out his powers, his demigod powers, there'd be a way to lock them up again. So he could spend his life with his friends. Now, they'd die, and then they could
be an old person.
He could bring his god powers back and reverse the clock. Because why is that not possible? I feel like that would be the genuine vibe more. Plus, Harry's the god of death.
Yeah.
And I think he would actually want his friends to have their time properly.
I don't know that he'd want to separate them from their family, because that's also what that means.
Well, right. And I think, again, he'd want them to have their time, their proper time.
Yeah. So, I don't know. But it was a sweet, I don't know.
It was a sweet, like, moment, though. It was very sweet.
Yes. I really liked that.
My mom says I can come over. That's the energy. My mom said I can come over. Are you free?
And then they all fly off into the sunset. No, they don't do that.
I was like, what? What did I not read?
But so that
is On Punching Gods and Absentee Dads. It's been a really, really interesting journey.
Yes. And first crossover fic for me, period. But in the hole, in the can. I don't know.
Both work.
In the can.
You just thought about it for too long and it sounded weird.
In the whole can. In the whole can.
All right.
So I don't know what we'll be reading next. Recs are always
great and appreciated. What we
there.
can tell you, though, is you should definitely be prepared for... Is it the next episode?
If it's not the next one, it's
the one after?
The one after.
Yeah. But either way, you guys, just be on the edge of your seats. Be ready.
Be ready.
For things.
Big updates.
Yeah.
We're very pumped. As always, though, thanks for joining us and listening to us.
Yes. We'll see you next time
on Fanfics and Friends.